Hello, viewers. My name is Zach Hardy, and this is my review of WWE SummerSlam 2015. As you may have seen, last night I did a WWE NXT Takeover Brooklyn special, and hold on. I did an NXT Takeover Brooklyn special, and whether you think of it as overkill, or whatever it may be, I thought it was one of the best professional wrestling shows or special events, whatever, especially WWE related, that I have seen in my life. And I guess I'll exclude that from WrestleMania because I always keep a separate list for the best WrestleManias I've ever seen, and the best Cult of Greatnesses I've ever seen, and the best Bulletproofs I've ever seen. Cult of Greatness and Bulletproof are USW pay-per-views. But I always keep a separate list for those, and I don't include pay-per-views like this to like NXT Takeover Brooklyn to interfere with WrestleMania pay-per-views or anything like that. So if you wanted to complain or whatever that I'm comparing it to one of the best pay-per-views when there are so many WrestleManias out there, I don't include WrestleManias in that list. But we move from Saturday, August 22nd, 2015, and NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, to August 23rd, 2015, and WWE SummerSlam 2015. Was SummerSlam as good as NXT TakeOver Brooklyn? No. It was a good pay-per-view. It had a lot of great spots. The matches were all right. It had decent build-up. But I did not think it was as good or anywhere near better than NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Now, before I get into this review, I would like to say something, and that is I'm going to see if I can involve my viewers in either WWE reviews or USW reviews, whatever you prefer. So, if you are a viewer of mine, or if you just came to this review because you found my review, it was live, so you started watching it, either way, thank you for watching. If you would like to be a part of one of my reviews, I'm going to see about holding some sort of contest or even picking somebody out from, let's say, the comment section to be involved in my next WWE pay-per-view review. And as I go throughout SummerSlam 2015 and I review this pay-per-view, I will jot down in my notebook the matches and my ratings. So that way I can keep track of what I rate the matches and how I feel about the matches throughout the night. So, of course, my regular plugs. Follow me on Twitter at Zachary Serra, as ZACHARYSERRA, for updates on the channel and whatever else I post. And if you have any wrestling-related questions for the Hardiac Wrestling Podcast or the non-wrestling-related questions for the Hardiac Questions and Answers series, send them to unitards@gmail.com. That is unitards with two Z's at the end at gmail.com, and I will get to them in a future episode if they are appropriate. Now, getting into SummerSlam 2015, and leave your comments below. I will be reading them throughout the review. So don't feel shy to voice your opinions on this pay-per-view in the comments below. Fuck, why are they disabled? Okay, doesn't seem like they're disabled anymore. Voice your opinions in the comments below, and I will go and get through the show. So, luckily for me, I missed most of the pre-show or the kickoff show. So in turn, I did not see whatever pre-show match was on there. And later on, while we went into SummerSlam, I realized there was no kickoff match on the pre-show. So whatever matches were hyped up for this pay-per-view were all on the main card, which is good because it made all of these matches, all 10 of these matches, feel important. And not a single one felt like, this isn't good enough to be on the main show, so we'll just put it on something that you can easily find on YouTube. And as I write down this in my notebook, because I use pen and paper, we get into the first match. Sheamus versus Randy Orton. This was an alright match. I guess it was viewable. It was, you could easily put up with the match. It wasn't something along the lines of a throwaway match or a match that was just so awful that you wouldn't be able to watch it again, or so awful that it would ruin the rest of the pay-per-view for you, like what you would expect from a Sheamus versus Randy Orton match. It was just a fine match. There was nothing bad about it. I don't have anything negative to say about it. The one thing that I have a little bit of resentment towards when it comes to this feud is the fact that throughout the entire Sheamus versus Randy Orton build-up, we got very little reason for these two to feud. And since the beginning of this feud, going into, Battleground, there wasn't really a reason for them to feud. And it seems as though, of course, with WWE's main roster booking, they just set up a feud without any real backstory to it. Whereas Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns had the whole backstory of, Bray Wyatt wanted to get to Roman Reigns personally, and he cost him the Money in the Bank ladder. He cost him the Money in the Bank briefcase. So Roman Reigns had a reason to feud with Bray Wyatt. Luke Harper wasn't doing good on his own or in his own singles career, so he sided with Bray Wyatt. He had a reason to side with Bray Wyatt. Dean Ambrose has been buddy-buddy with Roman Reigns, so he has a reason to side with Roman Reigns. So that feud is a perfect example of good booking and good storytelling. Randy Orton and Sheamus, correct me if I'm wrong, the feud does not have a solid reason for taking place. And that kind of influenced the match, not only the match at SummerSlam, but the match at Battleground in a negative way, because as a wrestling reviewer, as a professional wrestling reviewer and critic, excuse me, I look forward to storytelling. And anything that leads up to a match between two competitors, any story that is told before that just brings up a whole reason for why they're fighting. Something in the US, a match or a fight in the UFC does not have enough storytelling. There are two fighters, they're bad-mouthing each other, and that's the most storytelling you get. You could, UFC fighters bring up the opponent's family, or something in the personal life, or they try to get to them emotionally. But that's the only backstory you have in UFC. Whereas in professional wrestling, you have so much backstory, or so many reasons to have a feud, and so many reasons to have a backstory. And the backstory is what really mends into that match. And Sheamus versus Randy Orton didn't really have that. So going to the match, I didn't really expect much. Of course, I've said it before, they don't have that much charisma or chemistry. I'm sorry. They don't have much chemistry in the ring. So you wouldn't expect too much with a Sheamus versus Randy Orton match, let alone feud. The match at Battleground was way longer than it should have been. And then this SummerSlam match, 10 minutes long? 12 minutes long, 12 and a half minutes long. So it went on for a decent time. And it wasn't like one side was prevailing over the other for the majority of the match. Sheamus took control of Randy Orton, and Randy Orton took control of Sheamus, and they just kept trading blows throughout the match. And that's one of the things that made NXT TakeOver Brooklyn's matches seem so amazing. It wasn't just one-sided where, in the end, the other would pull out a few moves and win the match. This match was much better than the match they had at Battleground, and I believe it was Sheamus who won after two bro kicks, I believe it was two bro kicks, and I mean, things throughout the match, nothing really remarkable or memorable happened from this match. I mean, Randy Orton got a cut over his left eye. That's pretty much all. I mean, we got, I guess, Sheamus playing the crowd to an extent, hitting the what was it, chest punches or whatever. And then as the crowd was counting along, 1, 2, he looked to the crowd, realized he was giving them what they wanted, so he just punched him in the head, and afterwards Orton backed away from the ropes. Sheamus launched himself and right into an RKO, of course, kicked out of that, and it went into Sheamus winning with the bro kick. Something tells me that Sheamus versus Randy Orton is what we're going to get again in, I'm going to say, Night of Champions in about 4 weeks. Just because now Randy Orton has one victory over Sheamus. Sheamus has one victory over Randy Orton, so it's going to culminate into a rubber match, and that's probably going to be it's going to be the be-all, end-all for this feud. It was an alright match. I'll give it 3 stars. Nothing remarkable happened, but it was a solid match, and hopefully, if they do go on with a feud, there's more storytelling involved with it, instead of just, I want to fight you, you want to fight me, let's fight. This leads into the second match. Well, this doesn't lead into the second match, but we get into the second match, and that is the Primetime Players, Darren Young and Titus O'Neil, defending the WWE Tag Team Championships against the Lucha Dragons, Kalisto and Sin Cara, Los Matadores, Diego and Fernando with El Torito, and the New Day, Big E and Kofi Kingston with Xavier Woods in their corner, in a fatal 4-way tag team match. Unlike the Orton and Sheamus match, there were a lot of great parts to this match, and some really cool spots. I mean, Kalisto had, of course, his high-flying maneuvers and his high-flying offense, which kind of gave the Lucha Dragons some of the crowd getting behind them. I don't know how to reword that. Los Matadores didn't do much. The Primetime Players, to me, just seemed as though they were the centerfold tag team, where all tag teams were going to fight them, or they were going for them, so they're at a disadvantage, even though they have a 25% chance of walking away with the tag team titles. At the same time, they're all stacked against them, or stacked against the Primetime Players because of the tag team champions, so it's more like they've got a 10 to 15% chance with excuse me, any effect that the rest of the competitors have on them. And of course, the New Day, as energetic as always, they came out first, and I believe they played off of, I guess, Jay-Z's song. I guess it was New York. I don't know. I don't listen to rap or hip-hop. But they just did their own rendition, I guess, hyping up the New Day or whatever. And it worked. It was entertaining. And throughout the match, Xavier Woods had his perks, just kept talking and rambling on and on and on. And it was funny. It was entertaining. And he kind of got the point across, oh, the New Day are the greatest, team of all time or whatever. And at one point, I believe Big E was in the ring, and Kofi Kingston tagged in Titus O'Neil. So Big E tossed Titus O'Neil outside of the ring. I don't know how this works, but Kofi Kingston laid on his back, and Big E pinned Kofi Kingston. And I don't know, somehow, some way, this would all culminate into the New Day pinning the New Day and becoming the new tag team champions by pinning themselves. I don't know how exactly how that's supposed to work. It was entertaining, but I'm still not sure how that was supposed to work. It was a little confusing to me at first because you just see Kofi tag in, uh, Titus O'Neil, Biggie toss Titus O'Neil outside of the ring. And at first I thought Biggie was going to do something spectacular, like I'm sorry, Kofi Kingston was going to do something spectacular, like jump off Biggie's head or neck and then off over the top rope and onto Titus O'Neil, but just lay down and Biggie pinned him. And throughout most of the match, it was a brawl between all tag teams. You know, there were the regular tags, but I guess at one point the commentators pointed out that it was supposed to be a no disqualification match as well. Okay. Um, and ultimately, the end culminated with, I believe it was Titus O'Neil hitting not the sit out power bomb. It was some kind of spine buster, and then was it Kofi Kingston who kicked Titus O'Neil in the face, and then Titus O'Neil rolled out of the ring, and Kofi Kingston pinned Diego, who was spine busted, and won the match for the New Day. So New Day is now a two-time WWE Tag Team champions, I guess. The match was fine. It wasn't the lowest point of the show. And I guess you got exactly what you would have expected from this match. A brawl between all tag teams. You know, something hard to keep track of. You wouldn't really be able to. It was hard to keep track of who was the legal two men. And I'm still not sure if Kofi Kingston and Diego were the actual legal men. But I'll just take the word for it because I'm not going to go back and try to scour throughout all of that and find out who the legal men were. But the New Day wins. Excuse me. Now they are new two-time tag team champions, and I'll give it 3 stars as well. I mean, I guess you got exactly what you would expected from it. I would have just liked for the match to feature, or to have had featured a little bit more backstory behind it, other than the New Day are trying to get back their tag team titles from the Prime players who beat the New Day to take those tag team titles. But then you added in the Lucha Dragons and Los Matadores, and it doesn't seem as though the tag team division really got all that much of a storyline going into SummerSlam. But it was an alright match, and it was fine for the tag team division. And then we get into the third match, and that is Dolph Ziggler with Lana versus Rusev with Summer Rae. Again, another match that, for the most part, was back and forth. Rusev, in my opinion, Rusev got a little bit more advantage in the match. You know, taking advantage of Dolph Ziggler more than Ziggler took advantage of Rusev. And the match was solid. Of course, you got the Lana and Summer Rae moments where they tried to interfere in the match, which is fine. I'm perfectly fine with them trying to or attempting to interfere in the match and cost their opponents or their men's opponent to lose the match. And I believe everything ended when Summer Rae went to slap Lana, and Lana in turn countered and slapped Summer Rae. And then Summer Rae attacked Lana, but Dolph Ziggler and Rusev were on the outside. And I believe Dolph Ziggler hit some kind of DDT on the ground, and both men got counted out. So the match ends in a double count out with, I guess, both men being the loser. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, I don't know. When the video package showed up about the Dolph Ziggler and Rusev feud, I was like, all right, now I kind of see a reason to be interested in this. It's kind of growing on me, but after this match, I don't really want to see much more. It wasn't a good match. Well, I don't know. It wasn't the best match on the card. I mean, it was a decent match. It wasn't something that I would want to rewatch SummerSlam again just because of that. But it was a nice filler match, and I mean, every so often you need a filler match. I liked the fact that this match had backstory, and for the most part, I believe it was Dolph Ziggler, Rusev had a good backstory. To an extent, Stephen Amell, Neville, Stardust, and King Barrett had a good backstory. Reigns, Ambrose, Wyatt, and Harper had a good backstory. Rollins and Cena had a decent backstory. The three-way Diva Elimination Tag Team match had an all right build-up. Kevin Owens and Cesaro had a weak build-up, and Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker had a better build-up than they did from the last event or from WrestleMania 30. So for the most part, we got quite a few matches that had a reason for happening, or it had a good enough build-up for me to be interested or invested in the match. But again, I wouldn't go back and watch this match. I'm going to give it 2 stars because it was just not interesting to me, and I did not like the ending. Which then leads me into the 4th match, and that is Stephen Amell and Neville versus Stardust and the Cosmic King, King Barrett. This match didn't last a long time. It didn't go past what it should have been. It was like, let's see, 7.5 minutes. Decent timing for decent time for a celebrity match. And of course, Stephen Amell and Neville picked up the win over Stardust and King Barrett. I don't have a problem with that. Stephen Amell, of course, is not a professional wrestler by any means, but he held his own in the match, which is fine. He got more action in a wrestling ring than most celebrities would have, like Maria Menounos or Snooki or anybody else, which is fine. Stephen Amell, I mean, he was able to hold his own, which is a good enough reason for why he should have enough time in the match. And it all culminated. I guess his biggest spot, Stephen Amell's biggest spot, was jumping off the top rope on the outside of the ring on Stardust and King Barrett. And I believe it was Neville who hit the red arrow on King Barrett for the win, 1, 2, 3. And Stephen Amell and Neville pick up the win. This makes me think one of two things, or two things out of Stardust and King Barrett. Either they're going to become some sort of tag team, or we're going to drop the Stardust gimmick completely. I mean, I liked the Stardust gimmick for what it was in the beginning, but after a while, the Stardust gimmick just kind of got bland. After the Goldust, feud ended, it was like there was no point to having this feud. And to having this character, and I know Cody Rhodes enjoys having the Stardust character and enjoys playing the Stardust character and the Stardust role, but it's really just not doing anything except put him into creative corners where they build up Cody Rhodes into a feud, and then after the feud ends or they drop the feud, Stardust is backed into a corner, and it's going to be hard. It gets hard for him to get out of that corner. I mean, since Stardust and Goldust's feud ended, Stardust was off TV for a few months, and then his father passed, and then he came back, and then he joined in this feud against Stephen Amell. And I'm just waiting to see where Stardust goes next. I feel as though the Stardust character is going to be dropped more than I feel as though we're going to get some kind of cosmic tag team between Stardust and King Barrett. But in all honesty, Neville has no direction after this. Stardust has even less of a direction after this, and King Barrett has the least direction of all of this. I'm just hoping that out of those 3, they all get to some point over the next few weeks where they have a reason to be on television, where they have a solid feud in which they can just rest their shoulders against and have something to fall back on. It was all right. I'll give it 3 stars because why the fuck not? Then we get into the 5th match, and really quick before I start this, I am so glad that they kept this match short because it needed to be kept short. And that is Ryback defending the Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat match between The Big Show and The Miz and himself, of course. The match, of course, was, as many people can predict, was mostly between Ryback and The Big Show. And then The Miz would capitalize on opportunities. He'd lay on the outside of the ring, and then once both men were down, he'd go and pin the other or one or the other in order to try to pick up a cheap victory. And it didn't work out, and I believe Miz got hit with a knockout punch to end the match. Or no, to end the match, the Big Show knocked out the Miz, and then Ryback hit a knee hook clothesline or a fucking frog splash from the top rope and got the win. So 1, 2, 3, Ryback retains the Intercontinental Championship. And I'm hoping, the fuck do you want? Fuck off. And I'm hoping that this feud with Ryback, the Big Show, and the Miz is over. You know, we don't get another Miz and Ryback feud. We don't get another Big Show and Ryback feud. We don't get another Big Show, Miz, and Ryback feud. Maybe try to have Ryback go up against different opponents now that you have him as a somewhat decent Intercontinental Champion. You have the opportunities like Neville, like Stardust, like King Barrett, like Bo Dallas, like Dolph Ziggler, like Rusev. Hell, split up a tag team that's not doing anything right now. You have Sheamus who can, or Randy Orton who can gun for something in the means of just having a feud to be kept on TV until they have something more solid. And then the Big Show and the Miz can just go back to being off TV. We don't need the Big Show, and the Miz hasn't really been anything since his mediocre run as WWE champion in 2011, I want to say. Right now, you want to focus on Ryback and his Intercontinental Championship reign. You don't want to put Big Show in that picture, and you don't want to put The Miz into that picture either. So, again, as I said, Bo Dallas, Neville, Stardust, King Barrett, all valuable options. And I'm looking forward to what Ryback does in the future. I'm giving it 2 stars. As much as I appreciate it being cut short and having it be, a 5.5-minute match, didn't go overboard, didn't do anything for me. It was just a match between Big Show and Ryback with The Miz coming in when he wanted to. So now that we're halfway through the review, I want to see if anybody left comments. And if they did, thank you for leaving your comments. Let's see. Let's get to the comments. Let's see. Looking for your comments if you did have one. Nope, I don't see anybody who left comments. That's okay. If you haven't left a comment yet, I will still get to it at the end of the review. So, anyway, guys, back to SummerSlam. Almost going on for a half hour now. Awesome. So we get into the next match, and that is a tag team match between Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper, the Wyatt family, against Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Now, going into the match, I mean, as I brought up earlier in the review, this is a perfect and prime example, of decent or a very good, backstory going into a match, or very good backstory culminating into one match at this pay-per-view, and that is Bray Wyatt targets Roman Reigns personally for taking his spot, costs him the money in the bank briefcase. Roman Reigns is angry at Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is angry at Roman Reigns. They have a fight. Luke Harper gets involved because he's pissed off that he's aggravated that he didn't get what he wanted from his singles run. And so he sides with Bray Wyatt, and to make the odds even again, Dean Ambrose sides with Roman Reigns because he's his former brethren, and since Roman Reigns has been there for Dean Ambrose all the time, Dean Ambrose is going to return the favor and be there for Roman Reigns. So we get Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. The match was good. It was a back and forth match. Again, what I love to see from matches are the back and forth element. I enjoyed the fact that Bray Wyatt wasn't afraid to get into the ring, no matter whether it was Bray Wyatt, or, no matter whether it was Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose as the legal man. He was not afraid to get in the ring. He didn't have Luke Harper do his bidding work for him, so he wasn't like that cult leader who didn't want to get involved, and he wanted to let everybody be every. He wanted to let everybody do his work for him and then take credit for it afterwards. I like how that wasn't the case. So Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper they were combining as a team. They were on the same page, and so were Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. The match was great. I liked how Dean Ambrose was still able to pull off all his arsenal moves, and at some points in time, he would get a move countered. He would do his underneath the rope slide after being tossed back into the ring from the outside, and then run into a boot by Luke Harper or from Luke Harper. And then there were so many just great spots. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns struggling to get back into the match, and then ultimately getting back into the match and just getting the job done. Very enjoyable, and couldn't have asked for more out of this match than a solid match. And the backstory that it had was just great. It just led into the match perfectly fine, and it made the match great. So this leads up to, I want to say Roman Reigns hitting a Superman punch and then a spear, and then Dean Ambrose hitting the Dirty Deeds and Dean Ambrose picking up the win. I know Dean Ambrose was the one that pinned, or no, it was Roman Reigns that pinned Luke Harper, I believe, or Bray Wyatt. I don't know. But Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose get the win over Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. It's kind of upsetting because now Bray Wyatt is once again even with Roman Reigns, so we're going to have another rubber match. Sheamus and Randy Orton, we don't need a rubber match. Yet we're probably going to get that. We're probably going to get one of those, and we're probably going to get a Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt rubber match. Whether Dean Ambrose or Luke Harper are involved, I'm pretty sure they will. That's yet to be seen. And for those rumors about Dean Ambrose turning heel, it didn't happen at SummerSlam, thankfully. And it would kind of make no sense at this point in time because we're so behind Dean Ambrose that if he turned heel, I don't think we'd be able to boo him, just like we couldn't boo The Undertaker. I don't think, unless, of course, the whole crowd is with Brock Lesnar, I don't think we'd be able to boo Dean Ambrose. He's just too likable. We're going into Night of Champions, more than likely with another Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt match. And if they're still going through it by what the rumors have said, if they are still going through with turning Dean Ambrose heel, I would expect them to turn him heel at Night of Champions. And at this point in time, it kind of makes sense booking wise, because you have Bray Wyatt beat Roman Reigns at Battleground, and it was with help from Luke Harper. And then you have Roman Reigns beat Bray Wyatt at Battleground with help from Dean Ambrose. And so it'd be interesting now, since we're not going to get Luke Harper turn on Bray Wyatt, it'd be interesting now to see the rubber match, Bray Wyatt pick up the win against Roman Reigns, because Dean Ambrose turns his back on Roman Reigns and helps out the other side. So if we are going to get a Dean Ambrose heel turn, which I'm going to remind you again is stupid, I'm going to take it we're going to get it at Night of Champions, more than likely, if it is going to happen. And if it's not, that's great, because it doesn't make sense. But it's the WWE. You can never really expect anything. Unless it's a John Cena victory, you can't really expect everything to go the way you plan it to go. And this match was... fuck it, I'll give it a 4-star. It was a solid match. It had great backstory going into the match, and it made the match feel even better, and it was a physical confrontation. We got regular Dean Ambrose, regular Roman Reigns, regular Bray Wyatt, regular Luke Harper. They just let it all out in the ring tonight, and that leads into the next match. This bundle of fucking joy. Speaking of John Cena, the singles match for both the WWE United States Championship and the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins defends the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against John Cena, who defends the United States Championship, against each other. And I'm going to spoil it for you right now. I told you John Cena was going to win. I predicted that John Cena was going to win. I said there was no way that Seth Rollins was going to win. It was either going to be that John Cena walked away with both titles, or John Cena was going to walk away with a disqualification victory. And I told you, I told you John Cena was going to win. Guess what? Seth Rollins fucking won. I don't care that it was a dirty finish. Seth Rollins won. It wasn't by disqualification. It wasn't by countout. Seth Rollins beat John fucking Cena. And Vince fucking McMahon. I don't care if you want John Cena to beat Seth Rollins as your 70th birthday gift. By the way, let me just make sure I'm correct on this. Vince McMahon. Yep. Tomorrow night, Monday Night Raw on August 24th, 2015, Vincent Kennedy McMahon turns 70 years old. He is one fucking scary grandpa. Back to the subject. This match, I'm going to say it's candidate for the best match of the year. And I think we've gotten the most solid candidates for best match of the year so far this year. We've gotten Seth Rollins versus John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble. We got Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. We got we got Sasha Banks versus Bayley. Excuse me. We got Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. And now, from whatever feud they fought in. And we get Kevin Owens versus John Cena on like 3 occasions, 3 different choices. And we get Seth Rollins versus John Cena for both titles. So, I don't even know how to describe the background to it. So Seth Rollins breaks John Cena's nose, and John Cena's out for vengeance, but excuse me. How is he going to get his revenge? He's not going to get his revenge by breaking Seth Rollins' arm. He's not going to get his revenge by breaking Seth Rollins' leg. He's not going to get revenge by breaking his neck or by breaking his nose or raising the middle fucking finger to him like Brock Lesnar did to The Undertaker tonight, and I'll get to that in a second, or I'll get to that in a little while. No, he's going to get to him by pinning him and tying Ric Flair's record as a 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. And that didn't happen. Seth Rollins beat John Cena. And here's how he beat him. But first off, it was a physical confrontation. Seth Rollins pulled out his high-flying maneuvers. Seth Rollins worked the crowd to a T. And I think Seth Rollins was supposed to play the babyface for this match. I am not kidding you. Seth Rollins was playing the babyface as this match. I think Vince McMahon knew, all right, the crowd's not going to like John Cena. So we're going to have Seth Rollins play the babyface instead. And Seth Rollins did it perfectly. He's had background as playing a babyface, and he's done a remarkable role with it. He's done a remarkable role as a heel, and working the crowd like a babyface tonight made me assured that Seth Rollins can work any role in the WWE or any role that the WWE gives him, and he can work it right with the correct booking. So after physical confrontation and Seth Rollins put off the high-risk maneuvers, diving to the outside with a Daniel Bryan dive or a suicide dive once, and then going back into the ring, doing it again, doing this to the crowd, going back into the ring, doing a springboard senton over the top rope and onto John Cena, and then pulling off, I believe it was 2 450 corkscrews, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 450 corkscrews. Kind of like a whisper or a corkscrew with a fucking 450 splash. Whatever, it was a hybrid of that move. No matter what it was, Seth Rollins played the crowd to a T. John Cena got his negative reaction from the crowd, and the match was solid. Now, as I was telling you about, I'll let you know how this match ended. So John Cena picks up Seth Rollins for the attitude adjustment, much like John Cena had attempted to do with Seth Rollins, then got Pele kicked in the face, and then Seth Rollins got John Cena from a crossbody, rolled over, picked John Cena up, and hit the AA on him. The rollback, picked him up over the shoulders and AA. Cena got Seth Rollins in the AA position. Seth Rollins accidentally this time, not intentionally, but accidentally, knocks out the referee. So, randomly, of all people, Jon Stewart runs down to the ring with a chair. And at first I'm thinking, oh, he's going to screw Rollins out. He's still got beef. He's still got a grudge against Seth Rollins. And at that moment I'm like, that's what the WWE wants you to think. They wanted you to think Roman Reigns was going to win the Money in the Bank, but he didn't. Sheamus did. You thought Dean Ambrose was going to turn on Roman Reigns tonight, but he didn't. You thought John Cena was going to beat Kevin Owens the first time, but he didn't. Kevin Owens beat John Cena. You thought Roman Reigns was going to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania and win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He didn't. Seth Rollins won. So after all that, and all that goes through my head, I'm thinking, I'm not falling for your games this time, WWE. I'm not falling for your games this time, Vince. No, 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 no. You don't do that. You don't fool Zach Hardy again. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, again, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I'm starting to get aggravated. Fool me 4 times, I'm starting to get bitter. Screw me 5 times, fool me 5 times, this is getting too much. Fool me 6 times, I'm a fucking professional wrestler, gosh damn it. I deserve respect. Fool me 7 times, no, you don't. I went against my instinct on this one. Guess what? Bam! Jon Stewart, chair to the gut of John Cena, lays the chair out in front of John Cena. And at this moment in time, Stewart points to Cena, looks at Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins capitalizes. Pedigree on John Cena. And this is my reaction. I see the referee crawling in, and I count with him. 1, 2, 3. Ring the bell. Seth Rollins beats John Cena. And of all people, Jon Stewart is the one to screw John Cena out of not only the United States Championship, but the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Jon Stewart, of all people. I may have hurt my finger doing that. Karma, huh? So, let me get this straight. Out of however many years, out of, maybe recent 2 years, who's beaten John Cena on a pay-per-view? Or at least a couple few years. To my knowledge, Kevin Owens, Rusev, still trying to think, Brock Lesnar, and now Seth Rollins. I know there are more. I just can't think of them right now. So now, here's the problem I have, or here's the situation I'm dealing with. I have a feeling, a strong feeling. We're getting Seth Rollins versus John Cena again. Something in my gut tells me. We thought Kevin Owens and John Cena was a one-time thing, but no, John Cena had to get his win back. Now we're thinking Seth Rollins versus John Cena technically is not a one-time thing, but it seems as though John Cena is getting his win back because he always has to, because he's Superman, right? Not a cancer, just booked poorly. and booked stupidly. So someone's telling me at Night of Champions, Seth Rollins is defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and or the WWE United States Championship against John Cena. So not only is there a problem for John Cena's direction, but now Seth Rollins has 2 championship belts. So what do? Night of Champions, and you have to stick to your guns here, WWE. You have to stick to your guns here, Vince. You have to stick to your guns here, Kevin Dunn, and all other main roster writers. Night of Champions. Every championship in the company must be defended. There was a time where there were so many championships in the WWE that there wasn't room for a non-championship match. The first Night of Champions pay-per-view, we had the World Tag Team Championships on the line, the WWE Tag Team Championships on the line, we had the Women's Championship on the line, we had the Cruiserweights Championship on the line, we had the ECW Championship on the line, the World Heavyweight Championship on the line, and we had the Intercontinental Championship on the line, the United States Championship on the line, and the WWE Championship on the line. There was a time where we had all of that. Now we're losing less. Now we're losing more titles. So now we're just down to the Divas Championship, the WWE Tag Team Championship, the United States Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, and the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. All titles must be defended. Oh boy. So here's the problem you're going to run into. Is Seth Rollins going to face off against John Cena, or not John Cena, but is he going to face off in 2 matches at Night of Champions? One separately for the United States Championship and one separately for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? Is he going to fight in a match for both championships? Is that what's going to happen now? Are both titles going to be on the line every single time one title is going to be on the line? The other has to be on the line all the time? Is that what we're going to do? I'm not going to say you've booked yourself into a creative corner, but because with the right writing and the right booking, you can easily escape that corner and get back to the center of the room. But since we're dealing with the WWE, we're dealing with Vince McMahon, something tells me we're not getting out of this corner. Oh, and by the way, just for those of you who don't have the WWE Network, Seth Rollins was wearing white today. The traditional black tights and black shoes and black kick pads and black shirt. No, that was all white with the gold stitching in between. Excuse me. For those of you who asked. I don't know what the WWE does now. I'm looking forward to Seth Rollins turning babyface, or turning face, as I like to say face. I don't like to say babyface. I don't know why. There's been rumors of a Triple H and Seth Rollins match, somewhat of a passing the torch match. There's been rumors of all of that. But right now, I don't see anything left for Seth Rollins to do as a heel with both the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE United States Championship. I just don't. But with that being said, I've voiced my complaints. Hopefully John Cena moves on to something else. Seth Rollins even said, let's do that one more time. Only one more time. He didn't say again. He didn't say, let's do it again. He said one more time. And Seth Rollins won. Vince, don't fuck this up. Seth Rollins and John Cena does not happen at SummerSlam or at Night of Champions. John Cena and Seth Rollins don't have a match in the same... Well, I'm sorry. Seth Rollins and John Cena do not have a match with the either in the same match at Night of Champions. At Night of Champions, John Cena does not face Seth Rollins in any type of match. Whether it's a singles match or a triple threat match or a fatal four-way match, any match, John Cena does not meet Seth Rollins in a confrontation or in a match at Night of Champions. And Seth Rollins doesn't meet John Cena in a match of any kind, no matter who's in it, or whatever stipulation it is, at Night of Champions. Don't fuck it up, Vince McMahon. You stick to your guns this time, you pussy. I'm looking at you. If Vince McMahon does that, I'm gonna have to tell Kyle to have USW take over the professional wrestling industry. Anyway, 5-star match. Moving on. Team Bella, Divas champion Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and Alicia Fox versus Team Bad, Naomi, Sasha Banks, and Tamina versus Team PCB, Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. It went on for about 15 minutes, so I'm glad the Divas got a long match. Or I'm glad the female wrestlers or the women wrestlers got a longer match, and I'm glad that excuse me, it was somewhat interesting. The first elimination came when Team Bad was eliminated by Team Bella, and it was Tamina being pinned after a top rope Bella Buster from Brie Bella, and then Team Bella was eliminated by Team PCB after Brie Bella was pinned from a pump handle slam from Becky Lynch, and the winners were Team PCB, Team Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch, which makes me which makes me think either Paige, Charlotte, or Becky Lynch are going to beat Nikki Bella for the Divas Championship at Night of Champions. It's just inevitable. And when Nikki Bella loses that championship, it's going to be glorious. Glory, glory, glory. Us, us, us. And I mean, I even tweeted. What was it? I tweeted. What was it? All right. Let me find the tweet that I sent out. Team PCB defeat Team Bella. Now Nikki Bella can lose that pathetic, worthless championship belt. Or pathetic, worthless championship belt. So I'm just hopefully we get Nikki Bella losing that title at Night of Champions. And that's all I have to say for this. 3 stars. Cool. Next match. Second to last match. Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. I said beforehand that if Kevin Owens were going to lose to Finn Balor at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, or Kevin Owens was going to defeat Cesaro at SummerSlam. And he did. Kevin Owens beat Cesaro. 15-minute long match. Nothing bad about it. It was a physical confrontation. Both sides got their maneuvers in, both sides got their moves in. Both sides had the advantage in the match at some point in time, and Kevin Owens won with, I believe, a pop-up power bomb after, I believe, a package pile drive or a package suplex, package pile driver from the top rope, something like that. But yeah, Kevin Owens beats Cesaro. Kevin Owens finally gets a main event or a pay-per-view win or special event win. That's awesome. Cool. Hopefully we get another match or another match with Kevin Owens and Cesaro, and hopefully Kevin Owens wins. I don't want to see another rubber match between Kevin Owens and Cesaro. And if we do see a rubber match, we need to see it up the. We need to have the match up the ante or ante. We need to have that match be up the ante. Be up the ante. If we're gonna get another Kevin Owens and Cesaro match, you know what? How about we make it a no holds barred match or a no disqualifications match? And then if we get a rubber match, we make it a a parking lot brawl. I don't know, something along the lines of that. But I'm just hoping this is one of the very few feuds in WWE that I'm hoping we get another match out of. Now we go into the main event. Oh boy. Oh, and Kevin Owens and Cesaro was a 4-star match. We get into the main event. I'm going to spoil this for you. 5-star match. The Beast incarnate. The one behind the one in 22 and won. The man who will take anybody he pleases to Suplex City, Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry, Brock Lesnar. I can't do. I'm not as good as Paul Heyman. I apologize. Against the Phenom, the Dead Man, the Grim Reaper, the Undertaker. This is the match we should have got at WrestleMania 30. This is the match, or the build-up to the match, that we should have got for leading into the match at WrestleMania 30. If The Undertaker had lost to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30 in this type of match, or with this kind of booking or build-up, I would have been much more accepting of Brock Lesnar conquering the streak at first. It would have taken me less time to accept Brock Lesnar as the conqueror of the streak. What can I say about this match? For a Brock Lesnar match, it was back and forth, which is something you don't see all that often, not even with John Cena. You don't see a back and forth confrontation with Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker all that much. It was a brawl. We got outside involvement. Well, not outside involvement, but we got fighting on the outside of the ring. We got fighting on the inside of the ring. We got Brock Lesnar F5ing The Undertaker through the announce table. The Undertaker looked like he looked in 2009, 2010. And then we get the ending. It was not submission. I don't count it as submission. I count it as a knockout. It doesn't sting as much to the loser, especially when the loser does not need a loss to sting all that much. So Brock Lesnar has The Undertaker in the Kimura lock for the third time. Hasn't broken his arm yet. And this is during the match. But Brock Lesnar puts torque to the arm. And then all of a sudden, ding 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 ding. The referee does not call for the bell. Ding 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 ding. The referee looks over to the timekeeper. He's like, "What are you doing? I didn't call for the bell." They're saying, "I saw him tap out. He tapped out. He tapped out. He was tapping out." The Undertaker was actually tapping out to Brock Lesnar. But the referee's like, "No, I didn't call for the bell. You don't ring the bell until I fucking call for the bell. Until I call for the end of the match." Behind the referee's back, low blow to Brock Lesnar. Undertaker, third low blow in this feud. We get the ending. The Undertaker locks Brock Lesnar into the Hell's Gate. Which, if you don't know what that is, it's a triangle chokehold, or a triangle submission hold. So, you can look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about. And you start to see Brock Lesnar struggling to get out. And at this point in time, I'm like, he's not gonna, no, Brock Lesnar's not gonna tap out. I know that for a fact. He doesn't tap out. So he's locked in, arm over here, being choked in. Brock Lesnar's bleeding. Not all heavily, but you see him with his glove. He's looking to The Undertaker. Final seconds. This is what you see. We bring up, here we go. This is what you see. From Brock Lesnar to The Undertaker. Ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding. The referee calls for the bell. Brock Lesnar passes out to the Hell's Gate. The Undertaker, and what will go down in the books as The Undertaker beating Brock Lesnar. First off, let me tell you, I've never been at a point where I saw the timekeeper ring the bell because they saw something. and the referee didn't call for the bell. But then we go back to the replay. And as the referee is counting the pin, because Brock Lesnar's shoulders are on the mat, and he's got the Kimura lock on the Undertaker's left arm. 1. Undertaker moves up. Here's what you see. This is Brock Lesnar's leg. Here's Undertaker's hand. He's tapping out. He's tapping out. The Undertaker tapped out to Brock Lesnar, and it didn't count as a win because the referee didn't see it. The referee didn't call for the bell. Therefore, the match continued. He kept the match continuing, and The Undertaker picks up the knockout win over Brock Lesnar. Not a submission win, motherfuckers. A knockout win. A win via knockout. So The Undertaker leaves the arena. Paul Heyman gets in the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, you saw it. The Timeskeeper saw it. I saw it. Brock Lesnar saw it. The Undertaker saw it. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner by submission, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is all happy. All smiles. He feels as though he's won the match. In the books, he did not win the match. The Undertaker beat Brock Lesnar by submission. But he beat Brock Lesnar. But now, we've got Paul Heyman declaring Brock Lesnar as the winner, which doesn't really count for shit. I mean, he is Paul Heyman, but it really, in the end, it doesn't count for shit. So we got Paul Heyman calling Brock Lesnar the winner. We've got the referee calling The Undertaker as the winner. We've got the Timeskeeper who apparently doesn't know how to pick fucking sides. So this leaves a whole new opportunity for, I don't know, not Night of Champions. I mean, tomorrow night on Raw, we're going to get something addressed. Whether it's The Undertaker coming out to Raw or whether it's Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. I have a feeling WrestleMania 32 will see Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker in the rubber match to end all matches. I have a problem with that. I don't want The Undertaker to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. But since WrestleMania 32 is more than likely going to be The Undertaker's next match and his last match, it seems as though this will not be resolved. So it seems as though Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 32 is inevitable. That is unless The Undertaker faces off at, let's say, what are the remaining pay-per-views? Night of Champions, Survivor Series, no, Night of Champions, Hell in a Cell, Survivor Series, and TLC. Oh, and Royal Rumble and Fastlane before WrestleMania 32. So 6 pay-per-views. Let me go through them. I don't think you're getting Brock Lesnar and Undertaker at Night of Champions. So there's one. Hell in a Cell is just bullshit. The only way I can see Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker at Hell in a Cell is if it's in a Hell in a Cell match. But unless it's that, count that out. Survivor Series, it may still be technically considered one of WWE's big 4 pay-per-view events: WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and Royal Rumble. But I don't think it's housing Brock Lesnar and Undertaker 3. Count that out. TLC, why the fuck would we have that? Fuck you, TLC. Count TLC out. Royal Rumble, I can see that. However, I don't think we're going to get Royal Rumble, Undertaker, and Brock Lesnar. Count Royal Rumble out. And then Fastlane is still a new pay-per-view. It's got nothing. It doesn't have any real reason to house Undertaker and Brock Lesnar 3. So count that out. And WrestleMania 32 is the only other valuable option that I can see Undertaker and Brock Lesnar 3 coming up. And I don't want that to happen because I think whatever it is Brock Lesnar does at WrestleMania, I'd rather have Brock Lesnar do something else at WrestleMania than fight The Undertaker, because I want to see Undertaker and Sting at WrestleMania 32. Probably not going to happen. unless of course the fans revolt. But I want to see Undertaker and Sting at WrestleMania 32. And it seems as though WrestleMania 32 is going to house Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. And you saw, I mean, it's so difficult to build up a match a year in advance. Just ask either Vince McMahon, John Cena, or Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It was so hard to book, consistently book John Cena versus The Rock going into WrestleMania 28. With a year of build-up, John Cena announcing it the night after WrestleMania 27 that he was going to face The Rock at WrestleMania 28. So, and it was such a bullshit thing between John Cena and The Rock. Their build-up between WrestleMania 27 and WrestleMania 28 because then John Cena went and did his own shit. And then we got the brief moments where we got John Cena and The Rock versus like what The Miz and R-Truth, and then we got John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania 28. So just a year is just awful and atrocious, and it's almost impossible to book a rivalry or a feud or a match a year away. But now, what are we, 6-7 months away from WrestleMania? So we got 6 or 7 months of booking to do between Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. If we're going to do Lesnar and Undertaker again. I don't know. I don't like what we're setting up between Brock Lesnar and Undertaker. Because we're getting Lesnar and Undertaker 3. I guarantee you that. Sorry. Excuse me. WWE's new motto should be 3 matches and then we'll end the feud. Because it's always, you win the first match, then this guy wins the second match, and then we have a third match, and we just draw the winner out of a hat. So, Brock Lesnar conquered The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania 30. 16 months later, The Undertaker beat Brock Lesnar for the first time in his career at SummerSlam 2015, or SummerSlam 28. And we're gonna get a third match. And the only other options between WrestleMania, besides WrestleMania 32, in between SummerSlam 2015 and WrestleMania 32, for Lesnar and Undertaker 3, is the Royal Rumble. Maybe Hell in a Cell, to an extent, if we're gonna get Lesnar and Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell. But I don't see that happening. Especially considering Hell in a Cell is just a bullshit pay-per-view that should be on its way out, if it's not going to be already. The only other option is Royal Rumble, and I don't see that happening because we already have the Royal Rumble match and the World Heavyweight Championship match, so why add another one? I don't like the future of this. But anyway, guys, I'm going to give that a 5-star match, or 5-star rating. I'm going to read your comments right now. I'm going to try to read your comments. Hey, I've gotten a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Whoever it was that gave me a thumbs up. I don't know how to get to my comments. I work with me here, guys. I'm trying to get to my comments. Oh, shit. Went to the wrong page. Get there. I'll play that. Bear with me, guys. Let's see. I don't know how I can get views on this. Well, if you have anything that you want me to say, or if you have any comments, please put them in the comments after or when this video goes up after the live stream, because I can't read them right now. But anyway, guys, that was my review for SummerSlam 2015. My final rating for this pay-per-view, I'll give it 4 stars. Well, yeah, I'll give it 4 stars. It had its bright moments. Lesnar and Undertaker was great. Rollins and Cena was great. Owens and Cesaro was awesome. And those were the highlights of the show. Would I go back and rewatch it? Probably along my way of watching every single WWE pay-per-view in history, because I've got the WWE Network, so I've made it my mission to watch every single pay-per-view in WWE history. And I'm in 2008 right now. I'm finishing up 2008 right now, after a little bit of a break. But when I stumble upon this, I'll probably rewatch it. I wouldn't want to watch it. I wouldn't necessarily say this is a must rewatch, but it's bearable. So, guys, that was my review for WWE SummerSlam 2015. If you excuse me, uh, if you would like to be a part of my next or one of my next upcoming or one of my upcoming WWE pay-per-view reviews or USW pay-per-view reviews or WWE or pay-per-view or USW reviews in general, comment down below and I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can fit some of you, probably not all of you, but some of you into the next review or preview, whatever. You can comment or you can contact me and tell me. And final plug, follow me on Twitter at Zachary Serra, at ZACHARYSERRA for updates on the channel and whatever else that I post. And if you have any wrestling related questions for the Hardiac Wrestling Podcast, which I swear it's going to come back one of these days, or it's just a brief setback, or any non-wrestling related questions for the Hardiac Questions and Answers series, send them to unitars@gmail.com. That's unitars with 2 Z's at the end at gmail.com, and I will get to them in a future episode if they are appropriate. So, you guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Zach Hardy, signing off.